Hi, writers. I'm really excited today to start our new writing unit, Adapting Fairy Tales. Yesterday and the past few days, we got a chance to read our book, Prince Cinders, and get to know it a little bit together. And today I thought we would launch this new unit by asking a question and thinking about what makes a good fairy tale. What makes a good fairy tale adaptation? For the past few days, we've been reading classic fairy tales that many of you already know. And now we want to think about what makes it a good adaptation. So that's going to be the question that we ask ourselves today. How do authors adapt fairy tales? Now, usually when we're all together, we would pose this question and think about it together. Today, I'm just going to invite you to think alongside me while I show you how I would go through this inquiry. So I remember, when we read Prince Cinders, I'm trying to think here, comparing this to, Cinderella, well, it seems pretty obvious that one thing that that the author did is they changed the character. So we could change the character. For instance, Babette Cole, the author, changed Cinderella into a boy, Prince Cinders, right? So that's one thing we can do when we are adapting our fairy tales. And of course, there was other different kinds of changes in here as well. Um, instead of a fancy um, fairy godmother, it was like a less fancy version of the fairy godmother, right? So you could also change your characters to the opposite. You could change, if the character is a girl, you could change the character to a boy. If the character is fancy, you could make them less fancy. So one thing that authors do when they're adapting their fairy tales is they change the character. What I'm going to invite you to do today is I've uploaded to Google Classroom other adaptations of Cinderella. And what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to read, and I want you to think. Today's just a reading day. I want you to think, how does the author adapt this fairy tale? Maybe think, how do they change the character? Do they make it opposites like we saw here? Are there other things that change too? And also notice as you read today, what are some things that don't change? And then we'll come back together. So readers, as I was checking in with a lot of you, we noticed a bunch of other different things that happen. That authors can also change what happens in their fairy tale. We saw this too. We noticed though that sometimes some things don't change. Like in the Prince Cinders, there's still an important event, like the trouble is still the same that Prince Cinders wants to go to, but some of the events are different in the story. So remember, today and every day, and for the rest of your life, whenever you are thinking of maybe adapting a fairy tale, or if you're just taking a look at any mentor text, you can think like, how do authors do this thing? And you can study how authors write it so that you can make it your own.